I'll come back to the full view now. Today is World Youth Skills Day, a day set and declared by the UN in order to celebrate the strategic importance of equipping young people with skills for employment, decent work, as well as entrepreneurship. And the theme this year is skilling teachers, trainers, as well as youth for a transformative future. Well, Gauteng MEC of Social Development and Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment, Ms. Mbali Hlope, joins us via Zoom for more. MEC, thank you so much for joining us. A very good afternoon to you. Look, how important and significant is such a day to youth, particularly here in South Africa, where we are currently grappling with the high numbers of unemployment amongst the youth, according to the latest stats?
This day is very important, and if anything, it focuses everybody on the importance of ensuring that we upskill young people. Particularly, as you correctly say, if you look at our own economic scenario, where you've got a high levels of youth unemployment and also who are lowly skilled. This day really makes everybody to zoom into just that importance of upskilling individuals and making sure that young people can be able to be economically active. Because this is the future adult generation who, if not equipped with the required skills now, will simply become dependent on the state, rendering the prospects of our economic landscape not to improve in any way.
Now, MEC, you also say in your report there that the right skills will, of course, give youth a dividend in the future. But how important is youth skilling, not just from tertiary level, but from, of course, the grassroots, where the main focus would be honing in, as well as developing the skills of our youth so they become employable even after leaving school?
It's absolutely important. I mean, if you consider that we're the type of economy we have individuals that are largely dependent on the state for employment, the state continues to be the biggest employer. And we really need to change this narrative, because if you look at your developed nations, they have a huge and a growing SMME sector where they're able to make sure that they're able to duplicate and multiply on the amount of jobs that they're able to create, just through making sure that that enabling environment is created for business to thrive. And this is really the route that we as government want to take the country, so that people are able to focus and ensure that they are able to receive the required skills that they need to be able to move and really transition to self-actualize, in the manner that they need to be, so that they can be self-sufficient. And that, for me, is the most important aspect of it, and why the skills is important, so that you allow people to be able to stand on their own. So it's about giving people a hand up and not a hand out.
Now, you've got great news there with your department, MEC, which, of course, is targeting about 123,000 youth and women for skills development centers and job centers. Do tell us more about this program. Who can apply? Where can they get the necessary information?
So, as you know, I mean, in Gauteng, in our department, which is the Department of Social Development, Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment, the Premier has combined two big departments to ensure that we're able to raise the development and social development. So we have our skill centers throughout the province, and these are focused at young people, where they are taught multiple various skills that are there. So if you look into construction, the issues around agriculture, even beauty, for those who have an interest in manufacturing, whether of nails, nail polish, and so forth. And so we look into those various aspects. We look into issues such as fence making. It's a number of areas that are there. I mean, and it goes across throughout the various sectors. So we really want to target them, but these are also sectors where people that don't have large skills, skills based, that would be there, that would be required. So it's individuals that would also be lowly educated. We're able to absorb them. You'll know, for example, that we recently launched our 6,000 Green Army together with the Premier. And these are individuals that we are now bringing actively into agriculture and waste management, because people don't know that these two sectors can be able to absorb a lot of people. And there's also huge prospects for growth for themselves within them. If you look into agriculture, we've got huge food insecurity in the province, not just in the province, but certainly nationally. So by getting people to be able, one, to give them the skills on how they can be able to produce their own food, and then they are taught the business aspect of it and how they can be able to sell that food and make sure that they're able to get an income out of it, but also into waste management. So we teach people that waste is actually wealth, and through the waste that they collect, they can be able to sell it off to centers that we call buyback centers, And through these, I mean, if you look at someone who's dependent on the 350 grant as an example, that individuals would get for being unemployed. Through the waste management and just selling of waste, you can earn between 2,000 to 7,000. And this really ranges on how much waste you're able to get on a daily basis. You sell that off to these buyback centers who then move it towards recycling. You're able to make a sufficient income. So you're moving away from being dependent on the state to something that you can do. And also you can graduate to other areas where you can also be able to own your own buyback center and get involved in the other areas and opportunities that are there, both within agriculture and waste. And like I say, it's both, but I'm really heightening all of those two to show that we are looking into how do we solve societal problems, but through enterprise and entrepreneurship. So how do we drive people to solve the waste problem that we have?
Absolutely.
And we show the economic opportunities out of it, and same applies to food and so forth and so forth.
Let me say very quickly before I let you go, you've also appealed to big businesses for support and to support this initiative. How exactly can they assist, and which other stakeholders are you also partnering up in order to ensure that this program benefits those that are deserving and in need of such opportunities?
We work with our SETAs. I mean, they've been a great help, certainly for all the centers of excellence that we have that I spoke about, the manufacturing that takes place, the construction work that we teach them, this training that is there. So from an accreditation point of view, we work very closely with them so that we don't just teach people and then they're not accredited. So you walk out of there with an ability to be accredited in the particular sector that you're in. We also work with our NGOs, who've also been quite helpful. As you know, they do a lot of developmental work, so we're able to do that work with them. And we really are calling on other private sector partners. I mean, we've got great partners that have come on board. If you think about your Consol, your Coca-Cola, and so forth, and particularly in the waste space, they've come up quite big to say we want to also play a hand, because we know that which we produce as items, whether it's the bottles, it's the cans, and so forth, now creates waste. How do we make sure that we're able to empower people utilizing that waste that we've now created? So they really are coming up with it's really brilliant, because it allows us to take even individuals who are young people that are engaged in substances, those that are homeless. This skills development aspect has formed a central part of that, and making sure that outside of just rehabilitating them, they're able to stand up on their own and be engaged in something positive and do something positive for the nation.